Hello, everyone, and welcome to my predictions for Saturday night's game between the number 3 ranked Georgia Bulldogs and the 7th ranked Notre Dame Fighting Irish. This game will be played at Sanford Stadium in Athens, Georgia, and Georgia is coming in as the 14-point favorite. So let's look how the season started for both teams. Georgia right now is 3-0 with a 30-6 win against Vanderbilt, a 63-17 win against Murray State, and a 55-0 win against Arkansas State. Notre Dame started 2-0 with a 35-17 win against Louisville and a 66-14 win against New Mexico. Now let's look at the stats for this game. First on offense for Georgia, Georgia is getting 10.3 yards per pass attempt and 279 passing yards per game. They're also averaging 7.6 yards per carry and 287 rushing yards per game. Now onto the defense side for Georgia. They're allowing 5.2 yards per pass attempt and 182 passing yards per game. They're also allowing only 2.1 yards per carry and only 61 rushing yards per game. Now onto the Notre Dame offense. They're averaging 12.5 yards per attempt and 314 passing yards per game. They're also getting 4.8 yards per carry and 194 rushing yards per game. On the defensive side, they're allowing 5 yards per pass attempt and 143 passing yards per game. They're also allowing 5 yards per rush and 231 rushing yards per game, which is 120th in the country. Now, while a good amount of people think this is going to be a shootout between Jake Fromm and Ian Book, this is really good between Ian Book versus DeAndre Swift and the rest of the Georgia rushing team. Georgia is going to be running the ball a lot. They are top 10 in rushing yards per attempt and rushing yards per game, while Notre Dame is bottom 30 in the hundreds in allowing rushing yards per attempt and per game. Georgia has a very big O-line. Their O-line averages 330 pounds per person, while the Notre Dame defensive line averages 270. That's a 60-pound difference. And while Notre Dame might have a slight speed advantage, those big guys in the Georgia offensive line are still very quick, especially for their size. And even with that speed, they're not going to be able to get by that Georgia O-line, which is shown in the first few games, with Georgia's rushing offense being one of the best in the country and Notre Dame's rushing defense being one of the worst. On both sides, Georgia is better in rushing, and on both sides, Notre Dame is better in passing. But there is a significant difference between Georgia and Notre Dame's rushing and Notre Dame's passing and Georgia's passing. Georgia is top 10 in rushing offense, and they're top 10 in rushing defense. Notre Dame is about 50th in rushing offense and about 100th in rushing defense. And then Georgia is also around the 20 range because they have 11th for yards per attempt and 35th for yards per game. So I would put that about in the 20s for passing offense. And Notre Dame is about at 10 for passing offense. And then you look at passing defense. Georgia's probably about 20-25 in the country, and Notre Dame's about 10. Now, while Notre Dame is better in those passing categories, they're not as much better as Georgia is in the rushing. They're about 40 places better in rushing offense and about 90 places better in rushing defense. While for passing offense, Notre Dame's only about 10-15 spots ahead, and for passing defense, they're only about 10, 15, 20 ahead of Georgia. So Notre Dame will probably be better in the passing game, offense and defense, but Georgia's going to keep grinding on Notre Dame. Just keep grinding and grinding the rushing game, and they're going to be getting a lot of rushing yards, and I think Georgia ends up winning by a score of 38-24. They're just going to be grinding. It might be close in the beginning, but it's not. They're going to grind them away, and they're just going to get way too tired, and they're just be able to run all over Notre Dame. And Notre Dame does not have the best track record against very good top 10 Power 5 schools like last year when they lost about 30-0 to Clemson in the playoffs. And Georgia is a very good team, and I think they're going to win this game because of the reasons I said below, with Notre Dame have a very undersized D-line compared to the Georgia O-line, and Georgia's being able to grind the ground game, and Notre Dame, even though better being in the passing game, they're just not as much better as Georgia is in the rushing game, and that's why I think Georgia is going to win. If you got to this point, thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed my predictions for the number 3 Georgia Bulldogs versus the number 7 Notre Dame Fighting Irish. And if you enjoy these predictions, I have these predictions every week for the college game day game of the week. And again, thanks. Bye.